Hello and welcome to Chamber Connections. My name is Maureen Sullivan. I'm the Executive Director of the Bedford Chamber of Commerce. And today my guest is David Tasto. He is the owner of Assisting Hands Home Care.
Thank you, Maureen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So this actually is going to be my last interview. So I could say I saved the best for last, but you'll blush.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
So let's start with, why don't you just tell me about your story and how you got into this business and where you came from and where you're going.
Oh, thank you. Well, I started off in engineering and product development, but after a few years in various industries, I had a personal family experience with some caregivers. My grandmother was diagnosed with dementia about 5 years ago, and as she progressed through the phases of the disease, she lived with my mom and stepdad, but as the disease progressed, she needed to move into a community and then eventually into the memory community. But I recall my mom, and eventually at the end, she needed hospice help. But I recall my mom calling me and saying that the hospice help that she received, the caregivers were just so amazing. And she said, if I knew that there was help like this that existed, she could have kept mom at home longer. And it got me thinking, I'm like, wow, so there's just an unmet need out there somewhere. And but I got the chance to meet those caregivers that helped my grandmother in those final few weeks. I went out to Minnesota and met them at my grandmother's funeral. Wow. And these are caregivers, not that they were so committed just to attend the funeral, but I was able to hear some stories on how they were able to make her smile in those final few weeks. They were able to dress her in her favorite blouses, do her nails, do her hair, and they just went that extra mile to make her final few weeks so much more meaningful. They thought there was really somebody's grandmother in that person. Even though my grandmother wasn't aware of much of what was going on around her, they still cared, and that compassionate and their thoughtfulness really inspired me. So, on the way back from Minnesota, I just was thinking about how I could make a bigger impact, directly impacting people's lives.